Hey everybody, this is Mira Raven here. I am here doing another live stream. I feel like the live stream queen right now. I've been doing live streams like every week. Yeah, every week this week or this month, this whole entire month, I've been doing live streams. I was just doing a interview last night with Sekou Tafari of Frontline Books, which was really exciting. And so if you haven't gotten a chance, check that out because he has some amazing things to say about books, about um, the importance of the Black bookstore here, in Chicago especially. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. I just had a really great weekend this past weekend with my release, my new release. My music video was out. And I had a lot of really positive feedback from that. And so thank you for anybody who has already supported my music. If you haven't already, um, it is at magifest.space, www.magifest.space. And my music video is out, Only Love. I completely produced and managed everything, recorded everything on my own. And I am proud to say that I do not use autotune on any of my vocals ever, and I never will because I would rather sing it right than fix it later because I feel like that's my job as an artist is to sing something in tune and not have to use autocorrect. So anyway, thank you for coming. I'm really, really excited to have my friend Jalen Little on here. And the really funny thing we were just joking about was I had actually done an interview with him on his show, Observations, which we'll talk about later on when I get him on here. But I had him on, or he had me on his show, Observations, and we that whole experience was really funny because we had to keep changing the date, and then finally, we ended up using StreamYard last minute. It was like a last minute resort sort of thing, but it worked out really well. So I ended up using it for my own um, live stream. So I'm excited to have Jalen on here. He is such a talented and multifaceted person, and also a friend and a collaborator of mine. So I am really, really pleased to have him on here. Jalen Little is better known as Obs3rve, and he is a producer, he's a songwriter, he's a speaker, an educator, an artist, manager, he's a drummer, and he's just a really, really great guy, all around amazing guy. So I am going to introduce Mr. Jalen, aka Obs3rve. Hello, welcome to the Magifest interviews. We're so happy to have you. Oh,
Great
sorry.
to
We're
be here.
playing we're playing mute tag. Sorry. You unmuted and I muted. Yeah.
Hey, Mira, great to see you here. Thanks for having me on your show on Magifest. This is
Yeah.
such an honor.
Yeah, it's great to have you. It's very great to have you. It's great to be we're like, trading spaces right now.
I know,
You
right?
interviewed me first. And that's kind of what I was saying is it's funny because you interviewed me on this platform and
Yeah,
now I'm interviewing you on the very same platform.
this is pretty dope. And congratulations on hosting, Magifest on here and, all of your recent success with your music video that you just dropped. That was such an amazing piece of artwork that you put together. And I'm excited
Mm.
to see everything that you're going to continue to create. And so, yeah, again, just thanks for having me on your platform. I know, like you said before, you came on and did an observation live. So to be on Magifest right now is a very humbling feeling. It's like a full circle.
Oh yeah, totally. And I love it. It's like we have our things and like you have Obs3rve, Drive in the background. I love that. And that artwork. Tell me about that artwork.
Oh, this artwork.
Yeah.
Wait, let me. So this is a poster that I got actually from Ikea. I got this poster because when I first saw it, I knew that I was going to be building my space, and I wanted it to be something that was like just multi-dimensional. Just like I like to operate within the multi-dimensional space in terms of like living life and having experiences. And when I saw this poster, it really spoke to me because you can look at so many things within it, and you'll never get bored because once you've discovered one thing, it leads you to discover an entirely new thing. There are days where I look at this and I'm like, I just saw this for the first time, and it's been here the entire time. So, this is by, I forgot the name of the artist, but it's a Japanese artist, and he put this together, and it's just a very multi-dimensional poster. So when I'm down here creating in the observatory, I take a look at this as a reminder to like continue to remain multi-dimensional. You know what I mean? Not just like with like music, but just like my approach to life in general is like multi-dimensional to take my perspective and shift it in a way that just will uplift the experience as a whole. So that's kind of like the background about this poster. It is black. It is black light friendly. So when I put a black light on there, it actually will highlight different areas within the poster itself, which is like really cool, you know? So
Mm,
I'm just all
yeah.
about finding like super cool artwork that resonates with me and my brand and just getting it out there, you know? So,
Yeah. Yeah, and can you tell me again, where was this local?
yep, this was like,
Chicago?
yep, I got it at the Ikea store in
Wow.
I
IKEA.
know, right?
What? I
Who would
was
have
like
thought?
I was okay, so I was I was definitely thinking that it was something where it was like some like local Chicago artists, or like I was expecting you to be like, yeah, I just got it at like this like festival. I just like rolled up to this festival, and this guy, or
Yeah,
like my friend who like draws or something. I thought it would be something like that.
IKEA.
But why IKEA? That's really
Straight up.
funny.
Well, I walked in there. I walked in there to get I was getting a cabinet because I was like helping to build a cabinet in my kitchen. And IKEA, normally you walk in there, it's like a playhouse for adults because you just go in there and you are like, oh, what about this really cool item? And naturally, I gravitated towards like the prints and the arts and all of the posters that they had up. I saw this and I was like, oh, this is coming home with me immediately. I was like, this is an IKEA right now? I'm like, okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
I need to, that's the next kind of person I want to have on my next one of my other episodes. I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
An IKEA artist, like be like, I have every piece of work. I have over 1,000 pieces of work in IKEA. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, now that's an accomplishment.
That is
So,
amazing. Yeah.
so no, but I mean, I think that's like, I I feel like I said that and it probably came off a certain way, but I'm just kidding. I mean, people who make, because that's the thing, is people who make those art, to make that art, it's still art. It's
Mm-hmm.
still their art. It's still, it doesn't mean just because it's coming from IKEA, somebody still painted it.
Exactly.
It,
Yep.
and sometimes they have contracts with artists where um, they'll get certain artists to, produce for them and things like that. So it works
Mm-hmm.
out for the artists, in that way. They get to, have their art actually, bought and hanging up in people's places. But anyway, I want to just kind of give, for anybody who's new, anybody who ends up watching this where they're, just seeing you for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
um where did it all start for you? What kind of inspired you, influenced you, and allowed you to persist to the point where you are now? Because I think that a lot of us have those experiences when we were kids, and we, we're in choir, we're in chorus, or we're in this or
Oh
that
yeah.
creative thing that we do, and we enjoy it. But then there's always that moment where kids kind of stop, like you stop having you either go two ways. You either continue to do it and not give up or whatever, working on your music, working on your dance or whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
or you give it up, right? And so, what for you allowed you to persist throughout, because I'm assuming you had some experiences as a kid with music. So, can you kind of tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, Mira, it started in third grade where I was living down in Sunrise, Florida, which is a town in Fort Lauderdale. And I was this third grader. And in this classroom, I had a friend named Devante. Now, our classrooms down in Florida were in kind of like mobile homes. They were just outside of like the elementary school, of course. And, my friend Devante would always do these beats with pens and pencils on the table, and he would always do this one beat that sounded like this.
Oh, oh man.
And so we were both in the same grade, and so I remember like seeing him do that, and I was like, that was my first time being exposed to, I guess, being consciously aware of creating rhythms with objects and continuing to do that. And I've, of course, growing up, I've always heard music. My mom and dad would always play music. I'm sure, like with you, like same with your parents, cleaning day on Saturday or Sunday, they playing all the oldies from the 70s, all the Aretha Franklin, all the Barry White, just everything.
Yeah.
um and I remember like seeing Devante do that, and I remember telling him like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to make that same sound and it sound good. So I started doing it. And of course, in that process, I really started to piss off like the teachers. I started to make them mad. And like when I was first trying to do that, I didn't have any coordination. So like I was just like going super slow, like just trying to understand like what is the what gives it the low sound. Oh, well, I gotta hit this side of my wrist in order to get that
Mm-hmm.
low sound that resembles a bass drum. What about when I hit it like that? Okay, I know I gotta hit it with my knuckle, but like, ow, that kind of hurts, but like I gotta do it because I want to get that sound that resembles a snare. I didn't even know what a snare was at the time. I didn't know what a bass drum was. All I knew was audibly that mimicked the beat being, these components of, here's the snare, here's the kick. So third grade, I'm starting to really dive into, this finger drumming, hand drumming on the tables at school. Over time, I started to do that more and more often. Even at home, my mom and dad, they had noticed that I was just banging on stuff. I was grabbing objects and I was just trying to come up with beats and stuff like that. And so I remember during a garage sale, my dad actually, we went to a garage sale and somebody was selling like a mini kit for kids. So my dad actually purchased this mini kit, bought it home for me, put it in our garage. And then that was my first time having like a drum set because they were getting tired of me like banging on pots and pans and all that on a table, on a kitchen table. So they was like, all right, let's just get him a little mini drum set so he can stop banging on all of our shit, right? And then like from there, going into like fourth grade, I then, had this mini drum set, but I wasn't necessarily at the place where I was like, I want to play drums for the rest of my life. I just really was starting to fall more and more into music. And like, there was this one trip that I took in fourth grade where me, my mom, my sister and my dad, we all traveled to Fort Worth, Texas, right? My dad was working at Motorola and he was actually being transferred to Fort Worth. So we were driving there from Sunrise, Florida, which is down near Miami, all the way to Texas, right? So this trip was about maybe, I don't know, I think about 12, 13 hours. So naturally, in the car, I had a little Walkman CD player, and one of the first kind of CDs that I had on there was Kanye West, The College Dropout. And this was like one of my first hip hop CDs. The very first hip hop CD that I got was Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. that they put out.
Yes.
You remember
Yes.
that?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It's so fun. And like, I was listening to this college dropout CD from Kanye in the car on our way to Texas. Now I'm already starting to get this little experience with banging on tables. I now have this mini drum set, and now I'm now my brain is now starting to fall into this mode of like, I really like music. I really like how this sounds. Come the college dropout, being in the fourth grade, I'm listening to this and I'm like really vibing to the. I remember listening to the song Spaceship and really like, I want to learn how I can do that. How can I learn how to play drums like that and get my voice like that and do. I was just so fascinated by music. So now at this time, I was just consuming a lot of music that my mom and dad were showing me. I was technically not a drummer at the time. I was just more so, just messing around. So fifth grade comes along. I then try out for the band. Now the band's down in elementary school in Florida. They don't let you play drums yet. I wanted to play drums. They had this thing where they have you try out for all the other instruments, tuba, all the wind instruments, all the brass instruments. And they scored you on a scale of 1 to 10 for all of those. And what I was doing was, tried out for the flute, got a 1. 1 being like, don't even try it, dude. Just give up, basically. Like, this ain't for you. So played the flute, got a 1. Played the clarinet, got a 2. Played the trumpet, I ended up getting like a 4. Played the trombone, got a 3. Played the saxophone, got a 1. And then finally came the tuba. I played the tuba, made the loudest noise, a 10. There it is. I start playing the tuba. So now I'm in fifth grade band class playing the tuba down in Florida. And at this point, I still had this huge passion for drums. I was starting to build this reputation as a fifth grader to be that annoying drummer who would bang on the tables with pens and pencils at like lunchtime. They're in the classroom. Being a class clown too didn't help. So it was like this double whammy of just like annoying as hell, right? And then fifth grade, at the end of fifth grade, my mom decided that we wanted to move up to Illinois. So I ended up moving up to Illinois with my mom and my sister. And then what's different about Chicago and Florida is that as I was moving up, now, mind you, I was finishing up I was actually in sixth grade down in Florida. I played a tuba in the fifth grade. Then I started going to the middle school down in Florida as a sixth grader. And then I was at this middle school playing tuba down in Florida. Sixth grade, my mom decided to move us up to Illinois. I moved up to Illinois in sixth grade. Now, mind you, I started off as a sixth grade tuba player in junior middle school. Now I get to Illinois, I actually end up. Now the system here in Illinois is different. Middle school up here is 7th and 8th grade. Elementary school is 1 through 6. So I was just in this middle school, now being moved back to an elementary school as a sixth grader. And at this elementary school, they didn't have drums. I was playing the tuba. They barely had a band. I was just doing tuba lessons. So I kept playing the tuba, hated it. Just hated it. It was just the worst. But I still loved music. Now, I ended up going to Jane Addams Middle School. Now, I'm in the 7th grade now. Now, the 7th grade school system here works as a feeder from the elementary school for band kids, right? So I was the new kid. So on the first day of class, 7th grade, I get in there and, being the new kid, right? Nobody knows who I am. Everybody knew each other from like 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade. I was just the new person, right? And we're going around, the band director is telling everyone to go around, say your name and what instrument you play. Cool. So everybody goes around like, hi, my name is Jonas. I play this. Hi, my name is Sally and I play the flute. Cool, cool. It gets to me. And at this point, I'm super nervous. Hands are sweating. Like my heart is beating. I'm like, just like, oh my gosh, this is happening right now. Now, in that moment, I knew that the only instrument that I really knew how to play was tuba. That was something that I could look at music. I could look at, score sheets or whatever, and be able to read bass clef and know that that was how to play it on tuba. This was the one moment where when it got to me, he said, all right, what's your name? And everybody was already like, this is the new kid. And then I finally was like, hi, my name's Jalen Little, and I play the drums. So I announced that I played the drums, and everyone was like, what? Like, there's a new drummer. They didn't have any drum programs down in Florida until you got to middle school. So it was like perfect. So now I spent this time as a drummer going into the first part of seventh grade. I get behind a snare drum. I get this music in front of me. I have no idea what it's saying. Like, I'm looking at this music and I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the bass clef? Where's the treble clef? Why are the notes all on one line? Like, what is this?
Right. Just
So
pandemonium.
pandemonium. Instantly, my band director peeped game. He was like, Jalen, can I talk to you after class? I said, sure, Mr. Caliendo. He says, hey, are you really a drummer? And I was like, no. And he was like, I can tell. What do you really play? And then I
Oh
fessed up to
no.
him. I fessed up to him and I was like, I actually play tuba. That's what I used to play when I moved here from Florida. And he was like, why didn't you just tell us that, at the top? And I was like, well, I really want to play the drums. And he was like, well, I'm going to put you on tuba and see how you do. So for the next 2 weeks at the top of my seventh grade year, he puts me on tuba and saw that I hated it. Approaches me during like week 3 and was like, hey, if I show you how to play the drums, like if I give you lessons on how to play the drums, do you promise me that you'll stick with it? I said, Mr. Caliendo, I promise that I will stick with playing drums for the rest of my life. And he then started giving me lessons, and I kept my promise to him ever since. So that for me, from that third grade period of just seeing my friend Devontae use pens and pencils to then making this commitment to my seventh grade band teacher, that entire bracket of time was that persistence period for me. You know what I mean? And what led to everything that's happening now all stems from those moments in time.
Yeah. Wow. And I think I mean, what I hear from that too is that having that persistence at a young age, being able to, when you recognize it's what you love and then you go after it, and I mean, the fact that that you wanted to play drums so bad that you were willing to just say, hey, just put yourself in there, that, I mean, the courage that we have when we're young is amazing. When
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still young. Let's not, kid ourselves here. We're not old people,
No, no,
super old people, right? We're still
no,
pretty
yeah.
young.
We
But when
understand.
you're young, young, we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Tutorial level young.
yes. And so, so I'm curious, and I think most people are probably very curious, and probably you get this a lot. But tell us a little bit about the Obs3rve and the importance of 3 for you. So what made you settle on Obs3rve? Why was that something that what was sort of the deciding factor for you that really made you want to go with that as your brand? And also the 3, and sort of maybe the meaning for you behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Obs3rve was, the name Obs3rve, of course, comes from a nickname that was given to me in college. And this nickname was given to me because the person who gave it to me noticed that I was just a very naturally observant person. And not just with my eyes, but with my ears and with my mouth. I would state observations. This person would say that I would always look around and be like, yo, what are you looking at? And I was just like, oh, I'm just watching my surroundings. That's all. I just do that. Or like
Yeah.
they notice that I would see something and they'll say, I would have never have saw that. And so at that moment in time, I was just contemplating what I wanted my artist name to be, what I wanted my brand to be. And this is around 2015. And so then at that moment in time, I said, aha, observe. There it is. Like, it's simple, it's easy. I love personally just the short, simplistic, minimalistic kind of names. You know, previously I used to, you know, I was very interested in graffiti. And so, as a part of the graffiti culture, having just a simple name is always more remarkable and identifiable and memorable. And I felt that Obs3rve fit all of those categories. Then, when I started looking at just the word itself, I said, what can I do that will distinctively set me apart? Oh, perfect. I'm going to take the E in the middle and I'm going to turn it into a 3. Now, 3 has always been my favorite number. Really, 3 stems from this idea that, you know, my mom raising us, you know, into our early teen, into adult years was a single mother. And so it was always just the 3 of us. I mean, moving up here from Florida and not having anything but the clothes on our back to then being in the position now where we're at, we have had to take care of each other along the way. And so that 3 for me is just very special because I always think that 3 is a very powerful divine number. The power of 3 is something that is just something that's just divinely remarkable. When we think about when good things happen to us, a lot of the times they happen in 3s. And, you know, as humanly as possible, the things that happen that aren't necessarily as we judge them as good, maybe they could be perceived as bad. Those things happen as 3. That's the natural human condition. That's the natural order of the universe, is the power of 3s. You have the earth, you have the moon, you have the sun. Without both of those, there is no earth. You know, there is no light. There is no fraction of light to give life. Without the moon, there aren't any waves. No waves mean that the water is still, and all of the stuff that comes with that. So, and it just worked out nice with the 3, you know, being intrinsically a part of my life, interwoven into the fabric of my life. But then just for namesake, the 3 in the middle is 3 letters on the left, 3 letters on the right. So the syntax of that is just perfect, that the 3 is just right down the middle. And again, it just makes me more identifiable and more unique. So when people see it, they're like, oh, OBS3, RVE, you know, oh, this is Obs3rve, but the 3's in the middle. And then when I tell people my name is Obs3rve and they see the 3, I allow them to dive deeper. What they do when they dive deeper into my name is now they start observing. And so now they have now just self-entered the Obs3rve universe, because we all observe, you know, whether it's our environment, external environment, internal environment, our mental capacity. Everything that we do starts with an observation. And so I really sat long and thought about that, and how I could weave that into my brand and my image, and how I can really connect with everybody about that idea of we are observing, but we are also the observers, and we are also the observers observing the observed. So there are just so many nuances with it, and that's why I was just so attracted to the name, and why it stuck, and why it will continue to stick for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I think that's a very fitting name for you, and you know, based off of what I know about you. And I also think that I think it's really amazing how numbers are. You know, are you a fan of numerology?
Mhm.
Is that something that that inspired your decision, or was it something that you looked into after the fact, the 3 thing? Or
That's a great question, Mira. I think around that time when I was contemplating my artist name, I had just started discovering different layers of spirituality, and a part of that came the numerology, because I started looking up angel numbers. And so when I started reading about 222, 333, what's crazy enough is that I really, really, really took notice of numerology when asked my mom what time I was born. I said, Mom, what time was I born? She says, oh, you were born at 4:44 in the morning. I said,
Mm.
excuse me, Mom. She said, what? I was born at 4:44 in the morning. And from that moment, that's when I knew like there was this divine presence of my angels and just a higher. It gave me such a more. It gave me such a gratitude for this life, the life of others, and just numbers in general. You know what I mean? And it's just so deeply interwoven with this idea of me being a musician, music being frequencies, frequencies being the fabric of our observable universe, both right in front of us, external to us. Everything is composed of numbers, whether it's the dimension of the screen right in front of us, the dimension of the speaker. I mean, even down to the cubic feet of how much air probably is taking up this room. You know what I mean? So numbers have just been just so fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, numbers are. So what's your life path number? Just curious.
Oh, that's a great question. I have no idea.
Wait, what? You don't know your
Yeah.
life path number?
No, I didn't even know that was.
Mr. 3? Okay, we're doing this right now.
I didn't
We're
even know
doing
you.
this.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Life path.
Oh my gosh, what? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge numerology
Hmm.
like freak or anything, but
Yeah.
I do know my life path number. My life path number,
Okay.
it's basically what you're kind of like it's kind of like well, your life path, like your, kind of your purpose and your higher. So, my life path number is
Hmm.
9. I'm a 9. So, all in numerology, as you know, it goes 1 through 9, and everything is compoundable. So you break everything down
Hmm.
to any of the numbers between 1 and 9.
Hmm.
So the way you find your life path number is you just add the numbers in your birth date. So
Oh,
your birthday is,
July 20.
if you don't want to say it out loud, you can message me in the
It's okay.
private chat.
It's
Okay.
July 26, 1993.
Okay, so July 26th,
Leo gang.
1993.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that's 7 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 3, 7, 10. Okay, 1. Okay, 1. Your life path number is 1. And
Whoa.
how I got that was I added up the individual digits of your
Hmm.
birth date. And then what happens is then you get, we just do it one more time just to make sure.
Yeah. So you added up all the.
7, yeah, and then you get 37. And
Yeah.
7 and 3 is 1. So your life path number is 1. And yeah, so I could look up like life path number 1 and I could tell you generally what it
Yeah.
is. But yeah, so I'll give you like okay, so it's about invention, individuality, innovation. So it's number 1, which is really interesting. Um because ones are kind of they're about it's your journey is about it's like an independent journey. It's about yourself. It doesn't mean you're not going to help other people or work with other people.
Yeah.
But according to your life path, um it seems that your life that this life that you're on, this path, is going to be one of innovation, creativity,
Wow.
projects, solving problems. um that you're good leader. You're good at being, leading things. um and at times ones can be, like any number, they have their ups and downs.
Hmm.
They can be a little more self-centered at times, or they could, get caught up in their own things.
Yeah.
Um, but all in all, ones are very, very competent people. They're people that are very focused on getting their tasks done, and they're very determined, right, to like get to their goals. So I think that's a really good quality to have. So I mean, that's pretty cool. You can
Hey.
look it up on your like. I just was kind of picking up the the just like the basics, not
Hmm.
anything deep, but you can look it up more yourself. But I thought I really should look this up for him because,
Thank you.
especially being that you're a numerologist, that you have numbers in your name. I think
Hmm.
the whole numerology thing is really interesting. And actually, the train that I was on, I'm a Life Path 9, and the train I got on this morning was a 9. I added
Was
the
it?
numbers of the train. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is the second time that I've caught the 9 train. And this is a 9 train, and it comes a particular time. And I caught that exact train again today.
that's wild.
And I tried to get the one before it, but I just barely missed it. And then
Yep.
the next train that came was the 9 train, and I thought, this is fate. It's my fate on a train. Um,
Isn't that just wild? Like
mm-hmm.
as you're on your life path and that being 9, and that's just an affirmation from the universe in such a simple, such a divine way, you know?
Yeah. So yeah. Now I want to kind of I want to talk a little bit with you about if you could if you could follow in the footsteps of any, because
Yeah.
you're a producer, right? So tell me a little bit about I know you did a TED talk quite a while
Hmm.
ago, right?
Yeah, back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And then was it after that that you started producing?
You know, I first started producing. Let me say that I started making beats in like 20, I'd say 2009. My friend invited me over to his house with some other friends, and we were hanging out. And then he showed us this program called FL Studio or Fruity Loops. That was my first time being exposed to a software where you could produce music or at least make beats. And after that, you know, I kind of like anybody else during that time in like the 2000s to 2010s, I downloaded LimeWire and I, you know, torrented Fruity Loops. When I torrented Fruity Loops, I had it on our home computer at the crib, and like you know, I was definitely spending some times trying to learn how to make beats, and so I spent a lot of time in like 2009 until 2011 making beats. Now, once I got to my community college in 2011, I really I really didn't make a lot of beats. I wasn't sitting down at my computer like making beats for some reason. I would do it and then just like I was just so distracted by other things. And I was really starting to get into the drummer side of things. I was with my jazz quartet playing at a sushi restaurant every Friday night. I was into the live music thing more than I was the music production. I didn't really start making beats until 2014, which was my first year at SIU Carbondale. In the downstairs area of the journalism building or the broadcast building, they had a computer lab. Preloaded on those computer labs was Logic Pro X. And so I learned that I was able to go down there as a broadcast journalism student, sit at the computer, and then I could start making beats. Then that's when I really got the fire underneath me to start making beats. Now, as I started making beats during that time, I would consider myself to be kind of brand new to it because even though I had a little bit of experience, but that's when I was really spending like 8 hours a day just down there, just like making beats and stuff. And then, like, from there, once I graduated in 2016, I didn't have any studio equipment, like no speakers, no computer. I had nothing, like literally nothing. I was invited by a family friend who is, you know, dating a cousin of mine. He invited me. He said, "Hey, I saw that you just got done doing your audio engineering down at SIU. Do you want to meet me at the library, which was the Elgin Library?" He invited me to come to the Elgin Library to record him because he was a rapper. So he wanted me to record him. I'm like, oh yeah, like go to the library to record. Like I'm imagining like, old dude, old woman, give me a little microphone, a little computer, and like if we start recording somewhere. I got there and shortly realized that adults could go into a what was the teen center, but they had adult hours that you could check out this space that had a Mac computer, speakers, a keyboard. I mean, they had lights on the ceiling where they would do light shows, and it was like a multi-purpose space. And so that was my first time actually getting in there. I show up to this computer lab. The guy I was supposed to record didn't show up, but I met the director of that studio, which is called Studio 270. His name is Andre. Shout out to Andre. Andre and he was like, "Oh yeah, so you produce?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a beat maker, but I never really produced." He was like, "Yeah, come and check out the spot." I get in there, fell in love. I was there pretty much from 2016 onward. I was checking out all of the adult times and just going like trying to go every day for just an hour just to like work on beats, and I kept doing that. And then from there, that's when I started to build my catalog of beats that I had. Now, at this time, moving towards 2017 into 2018, in 2018, I actually now started to get my holdings as a beat maker, but I wasn't producing. To me, a producer is someone who takes the beat and then they take different components from different areas. For example, reaching out to musicians to play an instrument on that beat, reaching out to a singer to sing a certain style on that beat. Just kind of putting the pieces to the puzzle. I wasn't doing that yet. I was just making beats, not really giving them to anybody, just free forming it. You know what I mean? Now, until I'd say around 2018, end of 2018, going into 2019, that's when I really started to awaken my senses to what I could do. You know what I mean? And like my capabilities as a beat maker, but also as a producer. That's when I started really forming collaborations like with us and our song, and started to really peel back the curtain of what was possible and what I was capable of doing. And then from there, that's when I started producing records. And to this point, then now I can, confidently say like I'm a record producer. I can put myself in that same category as Timberland or as Pharrell, as Kanye, any producer. I feel like I can now say that I'm at that I have that status. Not necessarily, I can say I'm at that level too, but I'm also going to humble myself because I am still learning, and I just love being able to help people now tell their stories through music, and I can provide an opportunity for people to tell their stories, express their emotions and their feelings over a sonic soundscape. So it started off as a curiosity of how do I make beats, to then how can I take these beats and get people to sing or do stuff to them, to now being a record producer. I can reach into a database of people that I know who play instruments and ask them to come and do something on this track, while reaching out to vocalists, and then just putting all the pieces together to create something that's really unique and special for the world to listen and to see and experience.
Can you tell me a little more about, because I think that there's a lot, because I think the thing is right now with the music industry is there's an oversaturation
Yeah.
of musicians. There's so many musicians, there's so many producers, there's so many people, right, making music. It's profound, right? How many people are able to create music and how many people do. They find a way, one way or another, whether you're using your iPhone or a $5,000 studio. Now, for you, what was the turning point for you where you kind of shifted from being, just a casual bedroom producer to a full time producer. Was there any particular thing or event or release or anything like that that really kind of, kicked it into overdrive for you? Or was it
Yeah.
more of a kind of sort of something more subtle?
That's a great question. I think there are a couple of experiences that laid the foundation leading up to me being a record producer. I will say that the first instance of like what awakened my senses was doing a beat competition back in 2017. I basically got this ad on Instagram from this group, and this group, which is formerly known as I Standard, they basically said, "Hey, we're looking for beat makers and producers in Chicago for a beat competition. Submit and get your chance to win some prizes and go down to our larger event." So I submitted. I ended up going to a location in Chicago with other beat makers. We ended up all playing like 3 beats, a minute apiece. And then the guest judge there was Needles, who's a multi-platinum record producer. He's produced records for Beyonce, for Bruno Mars. I mean, just everybody. And he was there actually judging. And so I went, everybody went. I ended up taking first place for that. And when I got first place for that, that's when I realized that, okay, I had never done anything like that before in my life. So it kind of gave me just the authentication that I was capable of being in contact and in accessing that next tier of my musicianship, but also being surrounded by people who are doing the same thing that I love to do as well. Now, it started to really develop more, of course, when I went down to this beat competition in Atlanta. That was my first time being around a group of people who were also doing what I do. That's when I started to put the pieces together like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a beat competition, but really this is a networking event for beat makers to meet with songwriters and to meet with people in the industry, and for these people in the industry to like really help nurture these new producers and stuff. And then there was a point in time where these beat makers and producers, the people who have Grammys and da da da, and this week of just hearing seminars about the music industry, they started to then paint that picture of, yes, you guys are here for a beat competition, but really you're here to network and to do these things. And I took that in, and I'm listening now to these songs that these producers were making, because there was a point in time where these big level producers would play their music, and I'm listening and I'm like, oh, like, yeah, they made the beat, but they produced the song. Like hearing their stories about like, yeah, I just reached out to Bruno and he said that he wanted to do this verse. I reached out to this piano player. I reached out to that bass player. And then I just got them all in the room at one time, and just that's how the magic came about. That's when I then entered what I think was like the phase 2 of like my beat making and production, which of course was around the time that we first met as well. And then when we were doing our work together on the live side of things, when I was playing in your quartet, and we were playing gigs and I was on drums, we were simultaneously obtaining, our music production side, in which, I sent you that song, and I sent you the beat for Clockwork, and then you wrote lyrics on there. That was like when things really started to hit me, because that was like you were like the first vocalist ever to put your voice on one of my beats. And then you add all of your,
What?
yeah, like you
That's
really,
special.
no, that's real special. That's
That's
why,
special.
absolutely, because you took it to a whole new level. I had never had anybody take a beat, sing on it themselves, record themselves, add layers and harmonies to that, and the shit was fire. I mean, that's really what started to wake me up to, like, wait, no, I can be a record producer. Like, this is possible. And then just like then with Angus adding his on, and me in my mind, like, who would be a dope artist to complement what Mira just did to this? Oh, Angus. Yeah, let's get Angus on. Then Angus hops on, does his thing, because I knew you and him, you two operate in a high capacity of putting your passion into your music while also writing lyrics that are that resonate very well, but are also organic and authentic. And so it took that kind of consciousness of saying, okay, this is how records are produced, finding likes and then being able to get those likes on the same track, and then taking it to that next level. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
and then now that was in the middle of my phase two of like, okay, it's time to ramp this up. It's time to take accountability for my career and my passion and turn this into something worthwhile, which is then when I started kicking things into phase three. Phase three now is what I think that I'm currently experiencing, which is like getting rid of the old habits that don't serve me as a beat maker and as a producer, or as a beat maker really, and starting to integrate newfound habits that are moving me, not just me, but moving everyone I collaborate with towards a higher level of being and doing. And I think that's what I was able to demonstrate on my most previous record, which is that Sorry That I Love You, taking these components of, okay, I'm not just providing the beat, I'm booking the space for this music video. Getting my bass player friends, my piano player, the singers, hiring the actors for this, and bringing everybody into the room, and then being able to then follow through to completion, to then have something that is going to be a timeless record. You know what I mean? Something that isn't microwavable, but something that will outlive me, and share with generations down the line what we were doing at this very moment in time. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, I think that a lot of times, especially with production, I think it's kind of like being a project manager, in a company or a group where
yeah.
you're the one who has to make sure it gets done.
Yep.
That's kind of the name of the game, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but I think that that's it's really cool to sort of hear sort of the progression for you and where you've gone in your journey to get you to this place. Now, you mentioned that you are working on currently kind of throwing away habits that serve you. Can you talk about, I don't know, 3 or 4? Let's do 5 because it's a 5 year. And
Oh
we've
yeah.
been having the numerology talk, and it is a 5 year. So let's do 5 habits, bad
Mm,
habits.
yeah.
And what did you replace them with? And what are some 5 things that you did instead of
For
that
sure.
helped you?
I think the first one that I can think of was my lack of consistency. My lack of consistency basically was putting me in this position of not not getting anything done. And when I say that, I mean like, oh, I'll make a beat and then I won't make a beat for the next month. Or, I made a beat on Monday, haven't opened up my program since then. You know what I mean? So my lack of consistency led me to this newfound habit of course, being consistent. And so this is definitely something that I'm still working on. But outside of my production, I want to be consistent in all areas of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I want to be, not I want to be, but I will be more consistent with following up. I will be more consistent with making a beat, which is why I'm doing this 365 days a beat, because it's my proclamation and my way of showing not just myself, not just the world, but just the observable universe, that I'm serious about making beats. I'm serious about being a music producer. So that's why I'm like, okay, how do I turn this bad habit, or how do I turn this not bad, but this untapped habit into something that I can harness? I'm gonna do something consistently every single day. So
Yeah.
what I've been doing every single day since January 1st is I wake up, I've meditated every single day. That has worked wonders. But I've also made a beat every single day, and I'm gonna make a beat from now. Today, speaking of numerology, speaking of five, oh, guess what today is?
19, is it a 5 day?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is five, but it's also the infinity. Today is the 50th day of beats. Can you believe it?
Oh, 50th day. So that is a 5.
Yep.
Yes.
So
So there
today,
you go. Wow. I didn't know about that. The 5,
I
I
didn't know.
didn't know
Yo,
about
I didn't know either, G. I was like, yo, I just literally like, okay, I didn't make my beat yesterday. Yesterday, I just made it today. So I like
it.
I
It's
had to get
okay. We won't tell anyone.
had to get caught up. You feel me? But like
Mm-hmm.
I realized as I'm typing it in, like day 49, I was like, oh snap, today's day 50. You
Well,
just
congratulations.
hey, thank you.
50 days of beat making straight. You're almost there. You got 300 to go.
300 to go. 300 to go.
Whoa, 3. Oh my gosh. 3. That's a 3. Wow. See, this
It's
is what I call magifesting. This is the pure definition of magifesting. This is magically. You're magically manifesting 50 days of beats and you've got 300 more. Wow.
it's
And
not
you're observe. Okay, I was trying to figure out how to put the 3 in the observe.
Obs3rve,
Obs3rve.
Obs3rve,
Obs3rve. Obs3rve.
which is 3 syllables.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. That's it. No,
Just
I'm kidding.
saying.
I'm kidding. So,
So that was my first one,
yeah.
consistency. The second one, habits that didn't serve me that I'm like changing up now. Um, I think one habit was showing more gratitude. I think just my life growing up, I've always had to I've always been in positions that, of course, and there's so many people on this earth that have been in these positions, but like just growing up, having to go through hardship, see my mom struggle, being in a place where, I don't know what I'm going to eat that day, having to take cold showers because we don't have the heat on, things like that have shown me to embrace gratitude. And I think as I was growing up in my teen years into my adult years, I started to get away from that. And I wasn't connected to a deeper sense of gratitude. I would show appreciation, but I don't think that I would show gratitude as often. And that led me to, of course, not being more mindful of myself, but then also I think that it was affecting my relationships, not showing gratitude for my relationships. And so as a result of that, I told myself I will show more gratitude for for myself, for my experiences, but most importantly for the people around me. You know what I mean? Because I think that's just so important. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything else, life can suck. But one thing is that when life does suck or when life is good, you want people around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took me, it's taken me a while to realize that, because I'm still evolving and growing into, a human being. Like, every day is a new day to learn and to evolve and develop new skills and habits. So my second one is definitely getting into this habit of giving and feeling gratitude more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's number two. I would say the third habit, third habit is I think just not being in tune with my body. And I say that because previously I feel like all of my chakras and all of my energies were just misaligned. As a result of that, I was not optimizing myself to my fullest capabilities, So I made it a habit to, as a part of, that consistency. All these habits kind of complement each other and weave in and out. My third habit was to develop more self awareness of my body and my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that has led me to now creating a habit where when I am feeling dis-ease or discomfort within myself, or I'm feeling some type of way, even when I'm feeling the most excitement, I take a moment to feel where that energy is coming from within my body and to then, harness that. So understanding how my chakras are feeling and really tapping in and understanding what that means. I think the fourth habit that wasn't serving me was the habit of spending. And when I say spending, I mean that not just in a monetary way, but in an energetic way as well. A lot of my energy was just going towards things that really didn't matter, going towards just whatever. I was withdrawing a lot of energy and not depositing a lot of that. So one of my new habits is to be mindfully aware of my currencies, my energetic currencies, and understanding where to make the most right deposits and to where to make the most appropriate withdrawals of that, and being
Mm.
mindful of that.
Mm.
When your bank account gets low, what do? You say, I got to fill it back up. Otherwise I can't feed myself.
That reminds me of a funkadelic song. The one that's like, "Can you get to that?" Do you know that one? Can you get to
No,
that? Can you get? I wanna know if you can get me there.
I'm about to save it right now.
Yeah, can get. I wanna know if you can get me there. Yeah, it's like I once had a life forever. Life had me. I was one of many, or at least I seem to be. But anyway, there's a line that says, what is it? When you spend your what is it? Let me look it up. Get to that. But it talks about it. Just there's a particular. Now I have to look it up. It's one of those things. This is the millennial syndrome. I have to look it up. I have to know
Yeah,
now, and I have to know, and I have to know now.
I
That's
need
the
to know
millennial thing. But
that.
no, I really do because it's so appropriate. So
Hmm.
it's like when you base your life on credit and your love and days are gone, checks you signed with love and kisses later come back signed insufficient funds. I
Wow.
just love that. I just think it's such good songwriting right there. Um, so it's just, I mean, it's not exactly the same now that I'm reading it, but it's the same idea.
Same idea.
Same
Yeah.
idea that you can't like. I think that that's a really great thing to focus on is the fact that you can't, you can't overspend your energy, and I think we all are given an energetic budget when we get into this life, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's also connected to your life path or whatever your destiny is. It's like this is what your purpose is in life, and you get allotted funds to do what have whatever you need. It's almost like you get a grant from God or whatever, from the great spirit. You get a grant that's like, here,
Mhm.
you'll get all the experiences and all of the experiences and money and food and clothing or whatever you need, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do. I don't know, that's this is a theory, right? But I feel like based off of the things I've experienced,
Yeah.
it just seems like you usually, as long as you're in line with that, you will have everything you need, and you don't have to, be on a level of like worrying about, any kind of worrying is about just material. Oh, I don't have enough money. I want to have more money. Well, I mean, that's like kind of a material thing. So it's like, yeah, sure, maybe I want to have more money because it looks good in the Maya existence, right? The existence of illusion, right? Maya. Um, but in reality, is that really elevating my life? So I
Mhm.
think that the two things you mentioned with like gratitude and spending and self awareness, I think you're right in saying that they're all connected, and they kind of trigger each other, right? It's like
Hmm.
once you're more aware, you can be more, um, gracious. You can be more aware of what
Hmm.
you're getting, and you can really enjoy, because I think one part of gratitude is enjoyment and pleasure and receiving, right? And when you truly receive, you can be grateful for that because you're truly feeling it and you're truly connected to it. So you're truly, existing on that. So that was, I think, what, number four or number four, three, four,
Yep, that was number four.
four. Okay, number
Hmm.
five.
Number five is the habit that wasn't serving me. And to that point, Miranda, about, or Mira, my bad, about, giving and receiving. I feel like previously I wasn't giving love. And when I say that, I'm not saying it in like a romantic way. I'm saying it in a humanistic way of I wasn't giving love to people. I wasn't giving their flowers to them. Let me say I wasn't doing it enough because, of course, like I've always been the type of person who has been very heart centered, but I think that from my younger years, I think I just had a lot of bandages over my heart, you know, and growing up, I would never tell my mom I loved her, um, and it took me, I think, until like my like high school years to start feeling comfortable saying. I realized I was uncomfortable during that time saying I love you to my own mom because I had never said I love you. And I had to defeat that wall that I had built up of even those words because I associated those words with and me being a male, right? This idea of toxic masculinity was prevailing my younger years where I thought, oh, if I said I love you, that makes me less of a man.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would anybody no, saying I love you
Well,
makes you more of a man.
it doesn't make any sense, right? But I think that one thing to mention is the fact that I think so many men
Yeah.
feel they had the exact same experience. So, in a sense, it does make sense if people are making you feel, if you have elements that are making you believe that it makes sense. You see what I mean?
Mm,
Like it's not actually makes it doesn't really make rational sense, right? But because of the programming, the brainwashing that
yeah.
men get, they're going to feel that way. And I think there's a lot of men who feel exactly the way that you're talking about with I can't show emotion. If I show emotion, I am no longer male. I am no longer masculine the
Yeah.
moment I speak a word about my emotions, which is ridiculous
Mhm.
and doesn't make sense rationally. But there's a lot of things like that where um, until we have that spiritual intervention with ourselves and say, wait a minute, what do I actually feel? Because I can think about it, but how do I actually feel about that? And how is that going to affect those around me and myself?
Yeah.
And so I think, I think that's really, I think it's really important. All those things I think are incredibly important. Being able to be self-aware, um, because I think that there's a lot of times that we want to try to change what's outside of us, and really we can't do that. And the
Mm.
world is chaotic. The world outside of what we control is chaotic. It's never going to be a perfect order, but it is perfect too at the same time. It's perfectly imperfect
Mhm.
because we have everything we need. We have a symbiotic structure that we live in here on Earth. All the animals, all the trees, the plants, they're all working together to
Yep.
create this life here and this experience with us, and we're part of it.
Mhm.
And so when we decide to be part of it and decide to be and live our life in that existence, in the existence of, okay, you know these things are working together with me, when we can do that, and when we can reach out to people, and we can connect to the people, and we can show, like you said, gratitude, when we can really identify with our own emotions and where we are in a situation, but then also be able to show gratitude for the things that we're receiving
Yeah.
all around us, it just elevates where we are, because then we go, oh wow, oh, everything's great, everything. What? Why? Wait, what am I worried about? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Oh, dying? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's life. Like, you know, to me, that's the thing, is that, you know, at least with me, I went through this whole last year. I went through a period of time where I said, okay, um, what am I going to do here? And I got to a crossroads, and I had to go down the path. I didn't have to. I chose to go down the path of, I'm going to, like, make this the most beautiful, wonderful path and journey and adventure and life. And just, I want to look at life like that always.
Yes.
I'm never going to see life any other way. And so, you know, and I think that if I'm going to be here, if I'm going to be, you know, hang out here and go through human suffering and all of that, I might as well have a good time and at least have a dance or two. I mean, suffering is in it's part of the experience. It's not to say that
Yeah.
I would want to put suffering. I would never want to put suffering on anyone.
Yeah.
But I do. Do I think that it's part of life? Absolutely. It is
Yes.
absolutely part of living. It is part of the human experience, and there's a reason why we hurt, right? Instead of, you know, some people want to block out their emotions, right? One thing on emotions. Some people want to block out their emotions. But I embrace even the negative emotions. I mean, I don't love to hang out in them. I don't want to, you know, roll around in my negative emotions. But I do embrace them and go, oh, what message do you have for me today? Oh, nice to meet you. How
Yeah.
can I help you?
Yes.
Oh, can I cook you a good meal? Oh, you haven't eaten, have you? You're looking a little hangry. Can I get you something? Let me get you a
Yeah.
good meal, right? That's the mindset that I feel like I've developed with myself around my emotions, around my emotional state. And by having this entertainment with myself, it's a whole thing with myself, right? And for everyone else is different, right? You might look at me and be like, she's weird. I don't really care, right? Because it's working for me
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy. So I mean, right? So I think that whatever you works for you, you have to think about that. And the only way you do that is by having that relationship with yourself. And it's very interesting to you know, kind of hearing you talk through all of this, because I think that these are things that so many artists could really benefit from. And there's
Yeah.
simple things, but there's so many artists, you see them, you know, out there, and you can kind of tell that while their music is great, or maybe it's really fancy, or maybe it's got really good production or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
where is your head? Because in terms of longevity as an artist, you want to, or as a producer or any kind of business, you need to have all these other things in place. If you're not balanced, then it can only go so far before you crash. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not prepared, that's where you see all these artists and different people that make it big in this and make it big in that, or and they don't stay humble. They didn't build any kind of foundation spiritually or
Yeah.
emotionally, and then they only get so far and then they crash. So I think that the things that you're doing are important for artists to hear, because I think they're the kinds of things that can help artists really have longevity in their career. And speaking of artists, I know you're an artist manager. So can you talk a little bit about some of your artists that you work with, and some of your projects that you've got going on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the serendipity of that question, and thank you, Miranda, for sharing just that was such a beautifully verbalized excerpt of how those components tie into the human experience, and like that notion of like you need to build that emotional foundation. You need to build that mental well that you can like extract from and use, you know, during your journey here in this realm. And you know, as serendipitously said, you mentioned, you brought up with me being an artist manager, and I kid you not, literally my artist that I managed was calling me, literally as you were bringing that up, you know, and his name is OG Denzo. He's an artist from Rogers Park. He was someone who I first met my first year at SIU in 2014. We were both a part of the Black Male Initiative. I wasn't supposed to be a part of that because I was just a transfer student, but the Black Male Initiative was for incoming freshman students from Chicago, from East St. Louis. Well, the guy I talked to at my open house previously, he tried to sell me to it, and I was like, I just want to go down, transfer, live off campus, do my own thing. He said, okay, man, for sure. Let us know if you're ever interested. I ended up getting my housing notice from SIU about 2 months before school started. And they're like, hey, congratulations, you're going to live in this dorm and be a part of the Black Male Initiative. And I'm like, this dude still signed me up. Like, damn, here I am, a junior, about to be with all these freshmen, right? And so what I didn't know before that is that joining that was going to help me get connected to my best friends, my roommate, Kashan, my next door neighbor, or kind of like dorm mate, Denzel. And so at the time, Denzel was not doing music. He was there to do basketball, you know, and you know, I was known as the kind of the music guy or whatever, but like we all loved music, of course. Well, fast forward time, I graduate from SIU. Come to find out, excuse me, my roommate Kashan's a rapper. He's already rapping. And then Denzel was floating around the idea of becoming a rapper. And so, you know, in 2017, Denzel started writing some stuff, and it was just kind of like getting his feet wet. And at that time, we all decided to create something called The Progression, which was our kind of music kind of on taking of the world. We were the progression, right? And so I was actually managing both Kashan and at the time starting to loosely manage Denzel. And when I say manage, it wasn't necessarily like a full management, like helping them to get shows and stuff like that yet. It was literally like I was just kind of like a big brother figure, helping them to understand some of the foundational steps in the music world, as I was also just starting to build that for myself too. And it was like, you know, over time, I started to step away from the management side with Kashan and step more into the management side with Denzel, you know, and his artist name is OG Denzo. He's a part of the OG, or the original Guap Getters movement in Chicago, where one of the founding members of that group, Obs3rve, you know, he was just featured on Lyrical Lemonade. So like, you know, these guys are definitely making a name for themselves. And here I am just kind of like, as Denzel's like, first, like his brother, I don't consider myself a music manager in the way where it's like, you know, yeah, we got to, you know, just all the stuff that comes with it, like, you know, all the nitpicky stuff. I am more so, I think of myself as I am a proponent of supporting this person and helping them to create their own puzzle pieces and create the conditions for them to lay down the puzzle pieces to create the overall picture itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's my role as a music manager. And I've helped Denzel to get shows. But more deeper than that, I've helped him just to understand the back end side of the business as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even more than that, I'm a brother type where it's like, you know, if for any of us when times got rough, we would be there for each other. So, you know, anytime somebody needed something, hey, I got to take care of this real quick. Okay, boom. That's that. You know what I'm saying? We handle business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My brothers are down. I help them to get up. When I'm down, they help me to get up mentally, financially, whatever the case may be. So it's been an interesting experience. Now, at this point in time, I would say that of course, with my own artistry happening, I have to find a balance of being an artist manager and also being an artist as well, you know?
Right, because I was gonna say you have a lot going on. You have your own. You sort of how do you differentiate and how do you kind of um, balance both your career, your personal career, and then the artists that you work with, and then also collaborative artists as well. Where does this all? How does everything kind of work together for you?
hmm I think it starts first with just setting like very clear boundaries on what I can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that once I establish that with either new collaborators, existing collaborators, and also understanding what their boundaries are as well. You know, what people are willing to settle for and what they're not willing to settle for. That kind
Mm-hmm.
of lays the groundwork for all of the actions that we can take from there. Now, in terms of finding balance within that, I've had to become more structured and regimented with my own time management. And what that looks like is having to actually go to my Google Calendar and type in do artist management stuff for Denzo from this time until this time, do Obs3rve stuff from this time to this time, and then
Mm-hmm.
just go in more specifically and say, here's what I'm going to be doing during this 30-minute block. Those are the steps that require me to be able to find balance. Otherwise, like you said, it's so easy when you're doing so much to get overrun by those things, and then you just get worn out. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. So I'm curious because I know that I remember in our talk we had talked
Mhm.
about. I think you had read an article that I wrote about manifesting your goals and breaking them down and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I know that that was something that you seemed like you had some, that was helpful for you. Do you
Mhm.
find that that kind of, and I recognize a little bit of that in what you just mentioned. So I'm wondering if that was helpful for you, if that article had been helpful for you, and if that sort of that methodology of kind of macro to micro has been helpful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super helpful because it allowed me to uncover the things like I wasn't doing correctly, but how to just shift my mindset towards a way of being in control of my time and not my time being in control of me. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's because when you do that, you're taking. I think what I've noticed too is the mind, right? Like there's so much that gets there's so much of our waking lives is that we're operating on autopilot in a
Yeah,
sense, even though we're consciously aware. But there's certain things that we just automatically do. We don't even think about it, and we're just doing it. We don't really have to think about it because it's something we've done all, like brushing our teeth. Like you could brush your teeth and probably be, watching TV or doing something else, or you can cook and maybe cook the thing that you cook every week or something that you've done before. You can talk on the phone while you're doing that because it's something you've learned. And so I think that, having a plan, and I do the exact thing. And I found it to be very helpful in allowing me to be very productive and continuing to, that consistency is
yeah,
what is going to, if you do everything you're doing and you maintain consistent with yourself about it, then you'll be very highly productive. I only can say this with so much confidence because I've experienced it,
yeah.
and with the things that I've been doing lately, because I realized this week I was like, I started this stream and I'm like, I've been doing a stream every week. I did 2 streams this week. I
hmm
did 2 streams last week, and then I would stream next week, and then a stream, and then I did streams before that. So oh yeah, and then I did actually 3 streams last week because I did a live stream. So
hmm
I have had a lot on my plate, but I found that when you kind of just take a moment and you can get overwhelmed, but when you take that moment to just kind of meditate and
Yeah.
get aware and get kind of focused and okay, what do I want to accomplish? How am I going to get there? How can I break it down? Then you can surely get there. So I want to talk to you about you had a new release, right? This
Hmm.
recent, was your release on Valentine's Day too?
Yep, mine was on Valentine's Day as well. We had
Oh,
two releases.
so cool. Yeah, I was trying to reach out to you to see if we could coordinate it, but I know how it's, how it is. It gets really busy when you're trying to release and put stuff out. But yeah, how was that process? What was that like going through that?
Going through it, it was definitely an interesting process leading up to it because some of the components of what made that music video release possible, just due to the nature of the creation process, some things kind of got pushed back a little bit, which was okay because my team adjusted really well on the spot, and we were able to deliver a music video that was just something just like it just felt good and um, that day actually, I ended up going and getting a tattoo. Ironically, like, or not
Wow.
ironically, I should say, but like the one thing people do on Valentine's Day with their significant others or whatever, like it's my sister's birthday first and foremost. So I don't really necessarily I recognize Valentine's Day. That's a whole other conversation we should get into. Are these Roman holidays, right? And Valentine's Day is a Roman holiday. I'm just like, it's my sister's birthday first and foremost. So for me, it was that was like waking up, being able to be with my mom and my sister, giving my sister a book that we had made for her from Shutterfly, seeing all the love and feeling that love happening at that point in time. Then
Mhm.
from there, going and getting a tattoo. And the tattoo that I ended up getting was, and I can actually show you, it's kind of it's scabbing a little bit.
Yeah, put it up there. What is it? It's
So
hard to see in the camera.
you're right. Yeah, let me. So yeah, it is here. Let me put a light on it. So this is it.
Oh, like roses?
Yeah. So
Flowers.
so it's flowers, and sorry, it's brand new, so it's
Hmm.
scabbing. So these are rose flowers, of
Mhm.
course, and then those are jasmine flowers right there. And so you'll notice that it's within a triangle. And the reason why I got that was because my mom's name is Rosa, and then my sister's name is Jasmine. And so I wanted to, on the day of love, on the day of my sister's birthday, of course, I wanted to get something that would first be a gift to them, but then also something that just kind of represented the love that I have for both my mom and my sister, with their names being Rosa and Jasmine. And then, of course, the triangle represents the three of us because we've been like the three amigos, and how we've been, going through life, the three of us taking care of each other. So, and this was on the day of this release, so leading up to the release, like you said, there was just a lot going on that day, but it was just such a beautiful day all together to be able to get this very first creation out into the world, that I worked with my team, and then to also be able to go and get a tattoo was amazing. So um, yeah, it was dope.
Now, is this your like first music video, or you have a YouTube channel with music videos, or how does it work? First one.
This was my this was
Whoa.
Yep, this was technically my fourth music video. However, this was my first music video that features other artists, meaning my first three music videos were instrumental,
Mhm.
that I produced. This was the first music video that I produced, but there are other artists in there, and it was released in a way where it's similar to like a K-Tronada or a Metro Boomin, where it's like this is our song, and these are the artists that are featured on our song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So I have the music video and I want to debut it. I want to show it for anybody who hasn't seen it. So we're gonna watch it and then maybe talk a little bit, chat a little bit, and then kind of yeah. see if anybody has any questions or comments. So yeah, here's the video. All right, Dilly Jean, I love that. Dilly Jean.
I'm sorry that I love you. I know you don't want me to. Hate to be the bearer of such awful news. I'm sorry that I think of you every single night, it's true. I guess I got nothing left to lose. I better say what's been on my mind. I've been waiting for you my whole life. I just didn't realize at the time, but now I see it when I look in your eyes.
Still vivid of just what we tried to do. You ain't think that we be in it, must have thought I lied to you. Girl, I know we might be finished, but I still cry for you. You know I'm gon' ride for you, might catch a homicide for you. It's all true, and I don't even know what to do. Got you on my mind, my heart on the ground, trying to find time to balance the two. I could probably finna cop us a coupe. Road trip, we could chop off the roof. I know sometimes I trouble you. Sorry, I'm in love with you.
Oh, whoops. All right, so Dilly Jean, is that the singer?
Yep, that was the first singer.
Oh, very interesting. I noticed there's like a trend with like, I think there was like what, Chet Faker? Have you heard of Chet Faker?
Yeah.
Reminds me, that's what it reminds me of, Chet Faker. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that music video was pretty awesome. Yeah, Swiss Royal says that was fire.
Swiss, thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man, for taking the time to check that out. That's much love.
Yeah, so I kind of want to talk a little bit about the video, just a little bit here. So yeah, so how did you kind of come to work with Dilly Jean?
So Dilly Jean, okay.
He is quite the character.
That's my fucking boy. Okay. Crazy. This is such a crazy story, Mira, about how this entire song came together. So, with the homie Dilly Jean, right? It's 2016. I just moved into our new house here in Elgin. There's a Planet Fitness around the corner from it. I start going to this Planet Fitness and working out. And naturally, like, you know, when I see trainers, I want to go up to them and get as much game as possible. And like, hey, like, how do you lift to get, you know, this result? And so without having to pay, you know, I'm a little cheap like that. But you know what I'm saying? So like he was there, he was a trainer at Planet Fitness, and I went up to him and I was like, hey bro, like can you help me understand like what type of workouts I should be doing to get this type of result? And he was basically like, oh yeah, you got to do this, that, and the third. And then from there he saw my music tattoo, you know, with all these notes on my arm. And he was like, hey bro, you make music? And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm a producer, I'm a drummer. He was like, no way, like I make music too. I'm like, that's what's up, like what type of music do you do? And he was like, yeah man, I make, you know, I'm more in the pop punk scene, you know, I'm in a band, da da da. I'm like, bro, that's what's up, man. I'm a hip hop producer, so like I'm in the hip hop producer R&B world. He's like, man, we got to make music sometime, we got to jam sometime. I'm like, bro, my house is right around the corner. Like, come through, we'll jam, right? So get this. So he comes over, I'd say about a week after that. He came over to the crib, and then, you know, he was down here in this space. I was showing him some of the beats that I had. So one of the beats that I had was that one. Now, this is 2017 at this. No, this is still 20. Yeah, this is like 2017 at this point in time, right? He listens to this beat. And Dilly Jean is the type of person who will literally on site start singing and coming up with hooks and just like letting it all out. So he hears that dun 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 dun, and he just belts out, I'm sorry that I love you. I know you don't want me to. Hate to be the bearer of such awful news. And I'm looking like, damn dog, you okay? Like you sound like you're going through something. And he at that moment in time was, you know, this story is just so crazy, and I gotta tell it because it's just so crazy how it came about. This girl that he was training at the gym, he was starting to fall for her, and he kept it professional 100% of the time. So he would never profess his true like feelings for her because one, he's in a professional setting. He's a gym trainer, right? So he's holding himself to this high standard of, you know, my work comes first, which is very honorable, right? Because it's like you never want to mix work with pleasure or whatever. And it's like, you know, he's training this girl or this woman, should I say? He's training this woman, but he's also falling for her at the same time, and he just can't profess to her like, I'm sorry that I love you, like I know you don't want me to, hate to be the bearer of such awful news. Like to his disadvantage, she had a boyfriend too. So he's like, there's no way in hell this is happening. So come to find out, I'm at the gym and I'm like, okay, he tells me this story. I'm like, okay, I got to see who this girl is. Like, let me put my observation goggles on and see who he talking about. So I see him at the gym. He's with a girl or with a woman. And I'm like, okay, that's got to be her. So naturally, right, I just kind of, you know, I didn't want to go up and be like, hey, what's up, man? Because he's working. So I got a chance to look at her and I said, oh my gosh, is that Maria? Come to find out, that girl he was training was a girl that I used to go to elementary school with when I first moved here from Florida. And we were in the same friend group.
Wow.
Crazy. So now he's training this girl named Maria, who me and her were in the same friend group in elementary school, right? And so now at this point in time, I'm just like, my mind is blown because I'm like, he's talking about this girl who I used to know, but I know, you know, because we all used to hang out when we were younger. So I told him this. I said, no, he, you know, I talked to him at a later point in time, like, hey, bro, was that the girl that you wrote that lyric about? He was like, oh yeah, that's her, man. You know, she's so beautiful, da da da. I'm like, dude, I'm about to tell you something. This is gonna be really weird, but it's a small world moment. I said, I used to go to elementary school with her. He's like, no fucking way. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, we were elementary school friends. Like, we used to run around Elgin with the rest of our friends and stuff and hang out. So he was like, what? That's crazy. So fast forward now, we make that small world connection. At this point in time, he already has his verse down, you know, about this. I got nothing left to lose. I better say what's been on my mind. I've been waiting for you my whole life. Meanwhile, he's been waiting on her, like, you know, but get this, right? So apparently, what I don't know the specifics around it, but she was I don't want to say she was or she wasn't, but basically she ended up breaking up with her boyfriend, right? On her own. She ended up getting out of this relationship with her boyfriend. And then at some point in time, Billie Jean asked her out and they started connecting. And 3 years later to this present day, they're still dating and in love. And
Are they in the video? Is she in the video?
That's Maria. Yep. That's her.
Okay, wait. So let me find it here in the video. Is that her? Yeah.
Yep, that's Maria.
Aw, that's so cute.
So this is the most organic part of this song. Was the lyrics that he wrote was about a girl that he couldn't have because of course he was in this situation, but he ultimately ended up, you know, they ended up getting together and now they are a happy couple. And it was just so organic how it all came about on that end. Now with Denzo, now this is going back to the music production thing. I knew that for this song to pop, I needed a catalyst. I needed something different, something that would make people go, "Oh, this isn't just another song. Like this is unique." Mm-hmm. Take this pop punk singer, put him on a track with a hip hop artist from Chicago, and then create this unique blend of sounds. So
yeah, I see
crazy
that.
enough, Denzo was also going through a situation with his female, where he was going through this situation where, you know, they were seeing each other, but she ended up having a past relationship come back into the mix. And Denzo was like, look, I can't do this. I'm out of here. So then from there, you know, Denzo's like, look, this is what I can do for you. It's so true. I don't even know what to do. Got you on my mind with my heart on the grind, trying to find time to balance the two. During this time, he's struggling because he's like, damn, I got all this stuff going on in real life with music, but I also am falling for you. I don't know what to do. I got both things on my mind, and I'm just trying to find the time to balance the two. And at the end, he says, I'm sorry that I trouble you. Sorry, I'm in love with you. Because towards the end of this relationship, he felt that he was causing her more trouble than she needed. The entire situation prevailed that, you know, this past lover of hers was coming back into the picture, who she had made a promise to. But Denzo was like, I don't want any parts of that. I love you. I still want to be friends with you, but I'm out of here. And so he professes his love on his verse. And then what I did was, okay, now we have two verses together. We got Dylan's organic verse with him and Maria, Denzo's organic verse that features this model. Her name is Ari Banks. She's an amazing, talented singer, model, producer. Now, what I did to add my special effect or my special sauce on there, right, is I said, okay, we've accomplished the pop punk. We have that pop kind of like sound. We have the hip hop sound. What would be the most Obs3rve thing for me to do? Aha, I'm going to add a jazzy saxophone solo on top of this. So then people who know me and know that I love jazz can say, this is a song produced by Obs3rve. It wouldn't be an Obs3rve track without some type of jazz lick in there at some point in time. Mm-hmm. And then my friend Rob Nordley, who I've been playing in my jazz quartet with for the past 10 years, did the saxophone solo. The bass player who's been playing with us for the past 10 years, Connor Rowe, played the entire bass line throughout the song. And then that final little cherry on top was my friend Justice, who plays keys, where he just kind of brings us right out, you know, as the credits are rolling out. And that's how the whole song came together. And it's taken it 3 years. So.
Wow. So 3 years from the moment you like wrote it, from the, when you had, the beat with Dilly Jean, and then, you got to this point where you've got, the video and everything all together. You got everything out, and that's so wonderful. I mean, congratulations. This is obviously a really amazing, really awesome track. It has a lot of different elements. That's something I definitely noticed when I was listening into it. Was, it's got these different vibes, but it definitely, I definitely could see this being, something on the radio, or and this guy's personality
Yeah.
is pretty, he's pretty cool. Like, I like the two personality contrasts between the two of them. And then of course the music video, and there's, natural chemistry with everyone here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's, the fact that you had this organic, um, kind of situation with both writers, and you were able to sort of bring everybody together. I think that's, really important for a producer. So if people want to, this music is available everywhere. Where is it available? What stores?
Yep. So this is available in all stores: Spotify, iTunes, the Apple Store for purchase. It's available on Tidal. It's available on YouTube, both the video and the audio as well.
Oh, wonderful. And if people want to follow you on YouTube, what's your YouTube channel?
And my YouTube channel is just Obs3rve underscore music. You can just type in my name, Obs3rve, OBS3RVE, and it'll be the first one that pops up.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a comment from Swisswire. Sax was nice. Was a nice touch. I stopped playing it years ago, but I still love it. Yeah. Definitely got to connect you with this guy too, because he's a friend of mine, and he also, I believe, is a musician. So, and there's a
That's
couple of
dope.
people I know that I'm sure, again, it's just getting all these people together. I think that, that's something that can create so many amazing tracks. I think, when people start to work together and collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
there's no telling, what kind of music you can make when you're working with other people. So, kudos to you for this project, for getting to this step in your career, and to, for creating this really cool song, and giving a great example of how, you can take multi-genre, you can make multi-genre songs, and multi-genre songs, I think, is the future. I think that we're going to get
Yes.
away from genres. We're going to be moving away from, everybody staying in their little boxes,
Yes.
and people are going to, it's going to be more about, it's going to be more about mixing genres and being okay with mixing flavors, just like people mix, like Tex-Mex,
Yeah.
or I'm trying to think of another one.
In India, there's a taco place in Chicago that mixes traditional Indian cuisine with Mexican cuisine, and it is
Oh,
fire.
I think I've heard of that. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I think
Um,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
it's a taco spot. It's fire.
Wow. And then, of course, you and we're going to be putting out some music pretty soon as well. And I'm
Yep.
excited about that.
And I wanted
Um,
to let you know we'll chat after this, but I definitely want to shoot a music video to Clockwork. I think that'll be super cool. So,
oh, so yeah, everybody watch out, because we'll be putting out some music as well.
hmm
But in the meantime, to keep yourself, keep your appetite, or keep your thirst quenched, or whatever, however that's supposed to go, you can check out his music on his website. You can go to his website, www.obs3rve.com. And you can learn more about him, about all the different amazing things he's doing, his music, and Yeah, so I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and being, you know, being on the Magifest interviews and letting us get an interview of you. So thank you so much for being on the show. Again, if you guys liked his music, if you liked the video, support him, check him out. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, my Instagram is obs3rve_music. And, you know, it's just spelled, Obs3rve is spelled out the normal way, OBSERVE_music.
Okay, so that's for Instagram.
Yep.
You said YouTube and Facebook?
Yep. YouTube and Facebook as well.
Okay, I'm just going to put that in the banner for you guys so you guys can, anybody who's watching this, you can Obs3rve_music, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. All right. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye on this guy because he is going to be doing some great things. I can just tell. Okay. And I'm going to be, I can't say I told you so, but I'm going to be, I can't say I told you so yet. Okay.
Yeah.
But there will come a day where I will say, I told you so. I knew this guy was going to create amazing things, great things. He's already creating amazing things. So I cannot wait to continue to see that unfold and manifest and grow.
You're going to be right there with me. You're going to be right there with me as we ascend to the top. So,
oh, yeah. Well, on that wonderful, beautiful note, I'm going to roll my little credits here. So I have some brie and some cheese waiting for me.
yes.
And so it's been pretty lonely. It's hollering at me from the other room there. It's like, come eat me. Yeah. So I'm gonna attend to that. But I really, really, like I said, so grateful, so wonderful to have you on here. So excited to see your career and moving forward. Looking forward to working with you. Like I said, you guys, check this guy out. And I will see you guys all next month. I'll be doing another Magifest interviews. I'm going to be having Glenda, my friend Glenda, who does the Global Goddess Badass Workshops. So I'm really excited. She's going to be my first female on the show that I've had. And so she's going to talk about her Global Badass Goddess Workshops that she's running. So, I mean, I'm really excited to continue to do this. I decided to do this interviews because I really I have so many amazing friends and I just want to get them out there. I want people but I also want to have discussions with people to be able to sort of, just have these sort of candid discussions. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. And please, take a moment if you are enjoying this, if you're watching on YouTube, please take a second and like and subscribe my channel, please, the Mira Raven channel. Go to the Mira Raven page on Facebook and like Mira Raven, and you will get all the different shows that I do. I try to post everything that I put up on there. And I also have a music video out, a single that I just put out as well. So check that out on my website. That is www.magifest.space/music. Check both of our music out, support Chicago local musicians because Lord knows we need it. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Take care, everybody.